My name is Mandy Kent. I'm one of the network leaders in Salt Lake for the Family to Family Network. The Family to Family Network is a statewide parent support network run by volunteers. It is designed to educate, strengthen, and support families of persons with disabilities, especially those who are on the waiting list or are in services with the Division of Services for People with Disabilities. Network leaders are parents of individuals with special needs and link families to local resources, services, and disability-friendly events. The Family to Family Network is a project of the Utah Parent Center. So we're going to start off, we're going to talk a little bit about mindfulness. Let's see, so the definition of mindfulness means paying attention on purpose to the present moment without judging what is happening. Now my slide will not move.
Just click enter. Yeah.
Okay, so why should I be mindful? What are some reasons? Because it improves your overall well-being, decreases the impact of stress, improves your ability to cope with negative thoughts and emotions, increases concentration and ability to focus, increases self-acceptance and compassion, improves life balance, helps to gain an appreciation for the small moments, sensations, and experiences in life, improves sleep, improves brain and immune functioning, and decreases symptoms of anxiety and depression. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is a focused awareness to a present moment, sensation, thought, or feeling without clinging to it, resisting it, or trying to change it. Also, it means not judging what is happening. It involves holding the focus of your attention lightly with gentle acceptance, attending to the ongoing flow of the experience, gently observing it as it rises and falls. Some considerations for mindfulness. So when you practice mindfulness, you do not need to achieve anything special. Simply pay attention to the here and now. And a core practice of mindfulness is to just practice acceptance of whatever is happening in the here and now. Inviting yourself to take a non-judgmental and open attitude toward yourself while you are engaged in mindfulness captures the nature of the experience. So one of the things too that goes along with it is you do not need to try to become relaxed or feel good when you're being mindful. There's no need to try to change your experience, and there's no need to try to make it different or better. Just seeing what the experience is right here and now. Some of the things you can ask yourself to know if you could help increase mindfulness in your life, or maybe should consider it. Do I pay attention to physical experiences, such as the wind in my hair or the sun on my face? Do I pay attention to sounds such as clocks ticking, birds chirping, or cars passing? Do I find it difficult to stay focused on what's happening in the present moment? Does it seem like you are always running on automatic without much awareness of what you are doing? I do jobs or tasks automatically without being aware of what I'm doing. I tell myself I shouldn't be feeling the way that I'm feeling. I make judgments about whether my thoughts are good or bad. I tell myself I shouldn't be thinking the way that I am thinking. I think some of my emotions are bad or inappropriate, and I shouldn't feel them. So those are things that mindfulness works on. So ways to practice mindfulness. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't even have to be something that's formal. Just take a few minutes each day to be aware of sights and sounds in your environment. Listen, look, touch, taste, smell with attention. Allowing yourself to fully observe the experience. And give your full attention to whatever it is that you are doing. If you get distracted, simply pay attention or pay attention to what you are doing again. Let your thoughts come and go without getting too caught up. Practice giving your full attention and awareness to whatever you are doing right now. Be mindfully aware of your experiences, observing them with curiosity. Notice the flow of the experience rather than getting caught up in it. Consider what you would say to a loved one who is having similar thoughts or experiences. Simply just be aware that you're judging yourself. Practice not getting stuck in an experience and letting go. And do not let experiences dictate your actions. Let emotions come and go without judgment. And just recognize that an experience can pass. So I want to take just 1 minute to practice mindfulness. So for 1 minute, just observe the sounds that you hear in your environment and notice where the sound is coming from. And not putting judgment on that means that sound is annoying or I like that sound. Just say, I hear something here, I hear something there. So I'm going to time for 1 minute. And just observe the sounds in your environment for 1 minute. Okay, so practicing mindfulness is as simple as that, just recognizing what's going on in your environment. So I'd like to thank everyone for being here with us tonight and taking some time for self-care and learning about mindfulness. And I'm now going to turn the time over to Elizabeth, who is another one of our network leaders, to help us with the paint night. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mandy. That was really exciting, especially when, we are trying to practice that mindfulness. And, throughout the painting, I know our time's kind of short, but do take, just, I guess, or practice that mindfulness in terms of the way you're painting, the strokes, what's around you, and it's meant to be fun. So it's not meant to be stressful. The great thing about this painting is you can make it your own. So yes, we have roses and we have, like the sunflowers, but you can just put whatever you want. If you want to make it more Christmassy, you can do that. If you want to make it, more Halloweenish, it's really up to you. Just the whole point is just having fun. I think as caregivers, we spend so much time working hard for our family, for our loved ones, right? And so we totally deserve this moment, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and start off with, our canvas. So hopefully everybody has everything ready to go. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be showing you my plate. So hopefully you can get a pretty good view of it. And then I'll be telling you exactly what we're gonna be doing step by step. If at any point you kind of get lost or you need me to repeat something, please come off mute. Just let me know what your question may be. Yeah, so that way we can, totally enjoy this and not miss any information. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start off with the white. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna get some white and I'm gonna put it on my paper plate. This way, as I'm mixing colors, it's a little bit easier for me. And I'm using it with a this thick brush. You might have something a little bit thinner like this. Don't worry about it. It's just going to mean that you're going to do some extra strokes and some extra mindfulness exercising there. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more. And what I'm going to do is with my skinny brush, I'm going to add some brown on the side. And it's just going to be just like this. And this is going to be so that I can actually mix it up. You really can't see the white on this camera angle, but hopefully gets there. Okay. Be careful. If you're like me and you have your water and your water cup, just be mindful of which one's which, because sometimes you accidentally drink the paint water. Okay. I know it's meant to be a joke. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start off by doing our background. So if you notice in the picture, we have a couple of different colors. We have some brown, some white, and a darker part of the brownish color, right? And we see it kind of just contrasting there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start off painting, and don't worry about it being a straight line, but pretty much, what is it? Let's do 4 fingers above, right? So with that brown brush you had there, you're going to want to go ahead and grab your brown color and just make a line straight across, so we can go ahead and make our table. And it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? So don't worry about it. So you see there? So that's going to be the bottom of my table, and this is going to be the background. So once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and put that aside and then grab my white brush and start stroking the background. And what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to add some texture to my background, not necessarily in any direction. You're just going to loosely make some strokes up and down and across. You can make X's. And as you start adding more white, you're going to want to pick up some brown and start mixing that in there. You just want to make sure that you cover all around. I'm starting from the center and moving my way out. And like I said, as I'm going through, I'm picking up some brown and just mixing it up. And I'm just going to do that all the way above that brown line that we just drew a bit ago. Don't do that. Don't drop your paint. So we'll go ahead and continue. Let me wet my paint so it doesn't get on the floor and get stuck there forever. I'm back. So I like to be pretty silly. I like to kind of not take myself so serious because, you know, I feel like life is already serious enough. So if you notice, there's no right or wrong way. It's just some crazy strokes in there, just all around. I just want to make sure that I just get some paint all over my canvas and not very thick, so that way we have enough time to get it dry and be able to move on to making our flowers and our roses and whatnot. And if you need more brown paint, also feel free to add some more to your plate. I already ran out because I didn't add enough to begin with, but it's okay. And if you want to hang this up somewhere, you can also color the edges, especially if you're already ahead, you know, you can color the edges with that brown and white. And at the end, I really want to see everybody's, you know, final product. Okay. So what I'm going to start doing too is I'm going to start to grab a little bit more brown than white and then start going a little bit darker on the ends, okay? And the same thing, same approach is I'm going to want to go ahead and, you know, just kind of loosely move my brush, make some strokes on the end. I do want that brown to kind of be a little bit darker so I can show some depth in my picture. How's everybody doing? Good? I know most of you have your cameras off, so Eileen, I know you have your camera on, so hopefully we're good. Okay, awesome. Okay, and you can make your background as dark as you want, or if you want to keep it just like this, or whatnot. It's really going to be up to your preference. I want to make it a little bit darker, just because. But if you notice in the center, I have it's a little bit lighter, and then it gets a little bit darker. So we're just kind of working on blending that. Okay. All right, so once we're done with our background, great, awesome, great job, everybody. All right, so once we're done with the background, you're gonna wanna go ahead and add some more black onto your plate, some more brown onto your plate, and then we're gonna add a little bit of black, because now we're gonna start painting our table. So it's really up to you. I don't normally wash off my brush too much, but in this case, you might want to, just to get rid of some white. I'm just gonna wipe it down with the napkin. And then I'm gonna add some black, because I'm actually gonna want to mix in my brown and my black together. I wanna make a really dark brown in there. So I'm just gonna get some black and some brown, and there is really no perfect recipe. It's just, if you like that color, go with it. If you want it a little bit darker, add some more black. If you want it more brownish, you can add more brown. So once we've mixed it up, I know it would, if you guys want to turn on your cameras, feel free to do so. It makes it a little bit less lonely, right? So once we're ready, I'm going to go ahead and just start painting my table. So I just want to make sure that I just kind of go back to find a little bit of my background in my table, and I'm just going to go right across. Then grab some more paint, and then once again, then repeat. And if you notice, like practicing some mindfulness exercises, if you put your canvas up close, you can actually hear your strokes hitting the canvas, the brush hitting the canvas, right? Pretty soothing, I would think. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and paint this bottom part too. And since I'm painting this, I'm gonna grab just that same brush and add some white that I had previously mixed in with the brown, and then go back and go this way. And like I said, this is gonna be really up to you if you wanna do that, or if you wanna just skip that step. How's everybody doing? Good? I know, we're all kind of just concentrating, right? We're like, all right, this is some fun stuff. Let's get going. And the best part is you get to do this at home, right? You don't have to dress up and then sit somewhere and then, maybe have to wait or not have enough space. Here you have as much space as you want in the comfort of your house. Okay, so then for those of you, I'm going to go ahead and pause for a bit, allow the rest of you to finish painting your table. And when you're ready, give me a thumbs up, and then I know to move to the next step. In the meantime, I'm going to be rinsing my paintbrushes. I love it. The few of you that I see your cameras. I see you focused. Yep. That's awesome. I totally saw that. I just missed a little spot. How's everybody doing? Good? Awesome. So we'll wait 2 more minutes and then we'll move on to the next step. So in the meantime, what we can do is just wait for our canvas to dry out a bit. So if you notice, we have already the bottom, the table, then we have our background going. The next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing on drawing our pumpkin. And like I said, you can make a pumpkin, you can make, a vase, whatever is it that you want to make. We will just be needing our chalk and waiting for this thing to dry out just a little bit more. I know. Usually when you do the paint nights, they have like a blow dryer that everybody passes around, and you're blow drying your paint. Here, I mean, you can just kind of fan it. Does anybody else need more time?
Sorry, we got booted out. Our power went off here. Our
Oh,
power
no.
went off here and we got kicked out for a minute.
Okay, so where are you at? Let us know.
We did the background and we did the
Awesome.
bottom.
Okay, we're just kind of waiting for it to dry a little bit. We're waiting for everybody to catch up, and then we'll move on to drawing the pumpkin. So the next thing you're going to need is going to be your chalk.
Okay.
And if you can tell, like, for most of us, our paint is still a little wet, so we're just going to draw on it lightly. Don't lean your hand on it because you're going to have a nice brown hand up for the rest of the day, right?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Are we ready to move on to the next step?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, sweet. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start drawing the pumpkin. So, I mean, it's really going to be up to you how far up you or how low you want it on your table. I'm going to say, like, I want mine about a finger away from the bottom of my canvas. So I'm just going to go ahead and start drawing. So I'll draw the first curve. Right? I don't know if you can really see it. It's just very lightly drawn there. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because guess what? We get to paint it and then we get to add additional detail. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect it down here. And you might want to just wipe your chalk in case, if you're like me and you have paint all over your chalk. Wipe it, break it, flip it over. It's really up to you. And then what I'm going to do on the top is I'm actually going to just do a little small dip in, right? Because that's going to be the top of where our flowers are going to be at. That's kind of hard to see here, but can you guys see it? Hopefully.
What's that? Just a curve?
Yes, it's just a curve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my thinner brush and I'm going to grab some white paint. And I'm literally now going to draw it with my brush. So that's the little U. I know right now my pumpkin looks a little bit like a crooked apple. And it's okay. Because the whole point is having fun, right? And if you notice, like what we'll do is we'll wait until this dries out a little bit more before we start painting this part out. But we just want to draw that line so that you know exactly where your pumpkin's going to be at. Now I'm going to go back to my chalk, and now I'm going to draw an oval at the center. So I'm just going to start midway, go up and back down. There. And let me go ahead and do that. I think it would be easier if you could see it with the white paint. And I'm drawing it really light just so that you're able to see it. I know I got a little bit of brown, but we'll fix it after. And on the next one, what I'll do is I'll grab my white brush, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and follow and do one more line, and it's gonna be like a, almost like a half moon. And you'll do the same for the opposite end. So what I'm doing is every time I grab some white paint, before I dip my brush in it, I'm wiping it just to make sure I don't bring in a lot of brown. How's everybody doing? Good. Awesome. And we need some music in the background, somebody singing. But it won't be me. I have a horrible voice. Okay, so I'm gonna grab some white. So if you notice, there's you have two little containers of white, or like a big container of white, because we need quite a bit of it. Yeah, and if you notice, my pumpkin's already a little funny looking. It's okay. So once we got that going, you can start on the top where it's a little bit more dry and start painting that white. But what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to not get so close to that white line we drew, because that we're gonna contour after, okay? So I'm just gonna go just like that. So I'm kind of painting the outline of it. And then you'll see what we're gonna do later. And what I'm doing in the middle is that I'll paint one way, and then I'll switch over and switch, paint, get the strokes the other way. It's almost like I'm creating a curve already. And if you're like, oh man, I just messed up, I went over my line and now I can't see where it's at, don't worry, we'll fix it up. If we had a blow dryer, obviously you could blow dry the bottom and it'll be easier for us to, or we would do it continuously all the way down. But in this case, we don't have a blow dryer, or I don't have one handy. So I'm just gonna keep painting it on there. Okay. So once we're kind of here, we're going to leave that alone for a bit and we'll come back to it later because we want to make sure that this brown dries out. I don't know about you, but mine's pretty wet still, right? It's like we need to take it outside a little bit and then come back. Okay, so go ahead and wipe your brush. And now you're going to go ahead and use that same brush and we're going to be making our roses. Okay. You'll go ahead and wash it off, dry it, and then grab some red. And I'm going to add the red onto my plate. I'm going to get quite a bit because you have 3 roses and then we're going to be needing to create some more colors there. So on my plate, I have still my mixed colors, some red, white. You'll want to have some white on there because we're going to be using that in a bit. Anybody have any questions so far? Nope. Okay. All right. So where you position your roses is really going to be up to your preference, right? If you want to have them all bunched up, if you want them all scattered around, it's really up to you. If you want only 2 versus 3, I mean, the spectrum. Okay. So to make the rose, we're literally just going to start off by making a circle. And then I'm just going to keep adding some more paint and making my circle a little bit bigger. I mean, you will want to get it about 3 fingers big. So you kind of just look at, okay, you know, is it 3 fingers big? No, I need to go a little bit higher. Let me go ahead and add some more. So there's 1 rose for me. And then we're going to add the 2nd rose. And I'm actually going to have my other rose here. I'm going to make it slightly smaller. So I'm just going to go maybe two fingers. If you see that like your red is too see-through, you can add a little bit of white, just a tiny bit, just to make it a little bit thicker too. And I have quite a bit of paint on my brush, so I'm just kind of making it a little bit flatter. I think I'm going to make my rose a little bit bigger because now they're about the same size. So I'm like, nah, let's give you a bigger rose there. And like I said, this is really up to your discretion, whatever you want, however big you want your roses to be. I promise they'll be easy to paint. And then the next one I'm going to do it back here. How are we doing, everybody? Okay, great. You did it. That's awesome. You were able to paint it all the way through. Nana was able to actually paint all her pumpkin down. Mine's still pretty wet, so I still got to wait it out a little bit. And you can see when it's wet because there'll be a little bit of a gloss there. So I'm kind of choosing to wait. If not, I'm going to get that white, you know, full of brown. All right, so I'm going to keep kind of going back and adding some more red just to make it a little bit brighter.
Oh, shoot. Oops.
How many of you have done paint nights before? Raise your hand. Yay, I know. I like to do the ones with wine, but I'm a little relaxed, right? We could always do it with tea or water. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and wash out my brush a bit. And I'm gonna start to actually get some black and red and mix it together. So let me show you my plate. So I'm grabbing some black and I'm gonna grab some red. And you might want to clean out your brush before you grab the red. That way we don't get it all full of black. And I'm gonna start to mix my red and black together. So I'm trying to make a dark red. And if it looks like it's brown, just keep adding some red. It's okay. Because all it's gonna do, it's gonna be a contour to just help us shape our rose, the leaves in it. And because I don't have a really thin brush, I'm gonna wipe it, I'm gonna rinse it off, dry it out. And when I'm drying it, I'm gonna try to make sure that like I turn the bristles a bit inward so that it's a little bit thinner. Okay, but if you have a thinner brush, I mean, it should be pretty easy. Okay, so now that I have my weird kind of off red, looks like a little bit of brown in there. I'm gonna grab a bit, just a little tiny bit on the end, and I'm gonna start to paint little seeds. And I'm gonna start off from the center and then I'll move outwards. And they're not gonna connect, but you're just kind of like overlapping them. And then you're going outwards. I hope you can see that. I got a couple in there. And you'll do the same for the rest of the roses too. I'm just going, and like I said, there is no perfect way. It's just as long as you follow the motion. And if you ran out like I did, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab some more and start mixing it. So it's just like little seeds. And like I said, you can just kind of, it's up to you how detailed you want it to be. Okay, so as you can see, there's some roses in there. They still don't quite look like roses, but it's okay. We're gonna. So we're gonna go ahead and, if you're done making the seeds with the black and the red, you'll want to rinse off your brush, and now you're going to mix some red and some white. Now we're going to try to make some pink. And then with the pink, it's just, like I said, it's going to be your white and your red. And I know that this red is a little tricky because it's a little bright, so we'll just need to mix in quite a bit of red. If it's like some like salmon color, it's also okay. So I mixed in my colors, and I'm going to be using this side right here. And then I'm going to follow the same concept, but I'm not going to go over the green, I mean the red and black, right? I'm just going to go on the outskirts of it, just opposite in between. And like I said, if you have a thicker brush like I do, you can just kind of wipe some of the paint off and then just kind of twist your brush around a bit, and then it should help out of it, making it a little bit thinner. So is it starting to look like a rose? Awesome. I know. If you feel like, okay, it's not quite like it, add some more red, add some more dark red and black, and then just start to continue to make those little. Remember, sometimes when we look at it up close, it doesn't quite blend in properly, right? These paintings are meant to be looked at far away, right? Like in your bathroom when it's dark. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I usually don't hang up my paints because I'm so judgmental of myself sometimes when I'm painting them. So I put them in the garage. That's where they belong. But they could be a nice gift for somebody, or you can even, what I've done is when I've done the paint nights, I come home and I like show my kids, you know, what I've learned, and they think I'm the best artist, obviously, because they haven't seen the real artist. So I just try to have fun with it. It's, you know, that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to relax us, do some self-care, practice mindfulness. And this time around, like on this one, I went a couple more different strokes. Just still the sea, just kind of adding some more on the outskirt, on the outside of the original red circle. My sea's a little bit more bubbly in some, not as bubbly in others. And if you're unsure, like I said, put that canvas away from you, point it away from you, and then you can see like, okay, I need more color here. Or you know what, it's blending nicely here, so I'm fine with that. All right, so I'm pretty happy with my roses. They're not the greatest, but okay, right? I'm like, it's Thursday, it's almost Friday. This would have been perfect for Thanksgiving when we're all stressed out cooking that turkey and that ham, and we're like burning half of the things, right? That usually happens to me. I totally forget what I'm doing, and then I burn something, and then I'm not very happy. All right, so now what I'm going to do is, if you notice in our picture, right? I know it's kind of tiny, but there's some black little dots that our roses have. So I'm just going to grab the black paint and just add a couple little dots right in the center. You can barely see that. Can you see that? Well, my dots are not that narrow because my brush is pretty thick. But I'm actually going to use the other end of the brush, and I'm actually just going to, well, went too much, but. There we go. Beautiful. I love it. You decided to only do 2 roses? That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. You're like, you want maybe more sunflowers, whatever it may be, right? Okay. So I'm going to give you guys all a couple minutes, just 2 more minutes to finish up the roses. And then we'll move on to the next step. My pumpkin, the table is almost dry. It just needs a little bit more. So we'll draw our sunflowers and then we'll come back to the pumpkin. Hopefully by then the table's dry. So in the meantime, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of cleaning out my brushes, just rinsing them out. You don't want that to dry out on them, and it's kind of hard to maneuver them. So, you know, take the time to dry it out. Well, I mean, rinse them out, dry them, so that you can get them ready for your next color. And yes, your napkin will look pretty ugly. All right, 1 more minute and then we'll move on to the next thing. And if you need more time, come off mute and then let me know, hey, hold on 1 more second, or 1 more minute, not 1 more second, because obviously that's not enough time, but 1 more minute, and then we can, kind of wait for you really quick. Not bad for my roses. So I'm just drying out, like I have a little bit of wet paint still in here. So. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next step, which is gonna be to draw our sunflowers. Like I said, be very creative. Vanna's doing only 2 roses. You can choose to do 3 giant sunflowers. You can choose to do 1. You can choose to do smaller sunflowers and a whole bunch of them. It's really up to you. So to do the sunflower, you're gonna start off by just drawing with your chalk a circle, and we're gonna actually just draw the sunflower. So now I'm going to draw the petals. And if you're just like, great, I ran out of space, guess what? It's fine. It's fine, right? Like this one came out a little weird on me. So if I made a mistake, or if I want to take it off, I didn't really press on the books, I can just wipe it off. It's okay. And by then, your background should be wet, dry. The only thing that might still be wet is obviously going to be our roses, just because those are a little bit more fresh. You can decide if you want your petals to touch your pumpkin or not, or if you want them to not. It's really up to you. So in my case, I decided that one of my sunflowers is going to go behind one of the roses. Okay, and then I'm going to draw my second sunflower on the other end, also in between my roses. This one I'm drawing a little bit smaller. Hope you can see it there. And if you don't like how it looks, like I said, you can always just kind of wipe it down with your finger, or if you want to get, your napkin, just kind of take it out. I'm going to fix one of mine. Okay, so I have the outline of my sunflower. And what I'm going to actually start doing first is with my clean brush, I'm going to start off by making the circle. And that's going to be in black. I'm going to grab some black paint and I'm going to make the center of my sunflower. Then I'll paint it in. And I'll do the same for the second sunflower I have. And with this one, I'm using my smaller brush just because it's easier for me to maneuver it than it is for me to use that thicker brush. Usually the thicker ones are just going to be more for the background, or, even if you want to contour over here. Okay, so once you're done with that, you're going to want to clean out your brush, and now we're going to go ahead and use our yellow. Yay! It's already looking like it, right? So we'll get the yellow, and I'm actually just getting it from the little planks we have, the little containers, and then I'm just going to go ahead and start to do the outline. I just won't get as close to the black so that I don't start smearing it. And then I'll just start shaping my petals. And if you get some black on there, it's okay. You can just use it to give it some contouring as well. So there's one petal. And then you'll keep doing this for the remainder of the petals. So I'm going to go ahead and put it down a bit and then just start painting it. And if you get some yellow on your rose, maybe your sunflower is going to go over the rose. In the picture, I think there's some petals that are going over the rose. That's perfectly fine. It's really up to you. I'm going to go on to the second one. And you know what? I know I made it pretty short, but I'm actually going to make this one a little bit longer. So I'm just going to stretch it out with my strokes and then just come back around. And if your sunflowers are looking like mine, kind of lost track of some of my petals here. So we'll fix it right now. What I'm doing is I'm just kind of going around now that my black's dried out a bit, and then just, painting around it. It looks like a little, like some big, unique shaped suns, right? So if you're just like, okay, I kind of lost track of what it looks like, you can always just grab a little bit of that brown and mix a little bit of black with it, just a little bit on the tip. And I didn't even put it on my plate. I just literally grabbed some brown, a little bit of black, went back to brown, and now I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of give it a little of a contour just to give it an outline. I'm just adding a little bit, and not on every single leaf. So I'm just kind of just doing it on some of them, just so that we can define it a little bit more. And if my yellow gets blended in there, that's perfectly fine too. And this defines your petals a little bit more too. I had added a little bit too much brown on one, so I just grabbed a little bit of yellow and just added that so that it helps blend it in. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and rinse off my brush, dry it out really good, and I'm going to grab some brown, and I'm just going to go ahead and add some brown dots to my black here, just to give it that look of the little seeds or the little fuzzies on the sunflower. And then I'll grab some yellow and I'll add some more just so that it looks more like a 3D sort of thing. And if you want to contour your flower still, like your petals a little bit more for that sunflower, you can add some white as well. That gives it a nice little contrast. Like I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to add a little bit. And then just with very little paint, what I'm doing is I'm also adding some, just on some of the petals, just to give it a different look there. I know. If you're feeling a little bit stressed out, take a deep breath and relax. Right? Remember, it's meant to be fun. I know some of us, we were like, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm like, it's not coming out, right? It's all about just relaxing and having fun with it. Okay. So wait a minute, and then we'll move on to the next thing.
Hi,
Hello.
I just wanted to show you my masterpiece.
Beautiful. I love it.
Definitely not like that, but it's the best I could do.
You know what? And that's was it fun?
It was super fun.
Did you feel like, okay, I feel a little bit more relaxed, it's not stressful?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really fun. Well, I knew I couldn't do a perfect pumpkin, so I thought I'll just do a red base.
Even better, right? And it's all about individualizing it to your best need. I mean, my pumpkin looks a little funny, right? And we said
I think it looks perfect, but I'm gonna click off, so I wanted to show you my masterpiece. But I
Awesome.
also wanted to thank you. This has been such a wonderful experience.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah, for coming and joining us. I'm glad that you had fun, and thank you for sharing your wonderful masterpiece. Have a great evening.
Thanks. Have a good Thanksgiving, guys.
You as well. Take care. All right. So we're going to go ahead and go back to that pumpkin of ours, right? I'm going to grab some white, and now I'm going to go ahead just with my thick brush, right? Because we're kind of running short on time. I'm going to start to just go in there and start to add it all the way down. And like I said, we're just going to want to leave some space in there, so that way we know what area we need to add some contouring with or two. And when I'm painting it, I'm kind of following a curve, almost like I'm doing a C as I'm doing the strokes. And this one was the one that we were gonna just kind of have it meet at the bottom. And then in the middle, I'm just gonna go ahead up and down. How's everybody doing? I know this is the more like challenging part, right? We're all concentrating. We're like, okay, wait. And remember, if we get a little bit out there, it's okay. We'll fix it after, or it's just the way it's gonna stay. So that's how mine kind of looks right now. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna still keep your brush full of white paint. And you're gonna get some brown paint and just start mixing it up a little bit. You can mix it on your plate. And it's gonna be more white than brown. I'm kind of mixing it up here, creating this really like kind of light, I wouldn't even call it tan, but a really light brown. And with that, we're going to try to contour our pumpkin. So that's where we're going to start giving it a little bit more definition. So I'm just going to start kind of going around the way we were painting it, just on the outwards, and then adding some definition to our pumpkin. My pumpkin already touched the table, bottom of the table, and that's okay. It's gonna be right at the edge. And I'm just kind of following the same red this way. I'm gonna paint it this way down in the form of a C. Same here, this one way and the opposite. And kind of just going with the grooves of the pumpkin. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab my thin brush and I'm gonna grab our brown. And I'm actually that's what I'm gonna use to help now bring in those lines to have that definition. And I'm gonna do the same for the outer part of the outline of our pumpkin. And you're kind of wondering, like, it still looks pretty flat, right? So much curvy or any of that. So now what we're gonna do is, without adding any water or without cleaning out your brush, you're gonna get some more brown. And now we're gonna start to add the little grooves to it on the bottom. And all I'm doing is adding a little bit of shading. What you might want to do too is, if you grab some brown paint, just kind of wipe it a bit with your napkin, find a dry area with no color, and then just kind of wipe it a bit, and that way it's more dry than wet paint. So see how mine has very little paint? And then I'm just gonna add some to the top as well. Yeah, I guess I realized I can't draw pumpkins, but, or paint them. Not like this, not standing up this way. So yeah, I'm just going in there. I haven't added more paint and I'm just kind of stroking it. Stroking my brush through on the canvas, just trying to create a contour, creating some depth in my picture. And I'll do the same with the bottom. Add a little bit of paint, wipe it on your napkin, and do the same with the bottom. If you want to add more dimension, you can add a little bit of black there, but I'm gonna leave mine as is. Maybe a little bit more brown. Yeah. You can kind of take a look at it far away and you're like, okay, where do I need more shading? Like for me, I want to add some more here. And if you notice, like very relaxed, just kind of having some strokes there. Right. Far away, it looks okay. And then up close, you're like, oh, it could be better. So look at your painting far away. How does it look? Are we happy? I hope so. Okay, awesome. Okay. For the next part, we're gonna go ahead and rinse out our brush and we're gonna go ahead and grab some black paint. And now we're gonna make these little wheat here. Those little wheat plants. And so all it is grabbing some black paint. Just on the tip. And then you're just gonna go ahead and wherever you wanna add them, you're just gonna make 3 lines. All right, so mine just kind of went out that way. And let's see, these other ones, how do I want to add them? I'm gonna run one right behind here because I have some extra space there that just kind of missing something. And then the other ones can come up to the top. And since you have that black paint, you're gonna want to also just start drawing your little, I don't know what these are called, but I call them little piggy tails, right? These here. Yeah, good luck. No, I'm just kidding. So what you'll do is you'll just make some loops. So I'm going to start off here and then just kind of, it doesn't, like mine is super simple. You can add extra loops on there if you want, or just like I did, one loop. Oh, my loops didn't want to come out. So because mine kind of came out a little funny, I'm just going to add an extra one there, an extra little line. So we got those. And then we'll do the same thing. The other ones are like supposed to be berries hanging from there. So we'll add 2 lines or 3 lines actually. So I'll get the block again and just draw them coming down from here. And you don't have to worry about your line being perfect because it's going to be covered. This is just more to give you some idea of where it's going to go. Good? Thumbs up? Yeah? All right, now I'm gonna need my white brush, my wide brush, the thick one. I'm gonna rinse it off, wipe it really good. And I'm gonna be using some white paint. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add some to my plate, but you can keep it on the container, it's really up to you. And what you're gonna do is now you're gonna start making those wheat plants. Okay, so with just a corner, just lightly stroke it from inward out, okay? You can make them a little bit thicker. It might just be faster to kind of widen up your brush a bit. I'm being so mindful, I can hear that really fast car drive by. See, so we'll do that. And I'm just going on an angle. And I'll do the same for the other side. If you notice, I'm not grabbing too much paint. I'm just kind of using what comes in the brush to make each one. And then I'll get a little bit more and then keep going. Yay, we got our wheat plants in there. So I'm gonna go back and add some more here because I feel like it's pretty empty. Okay, so there we go. So now we're gonna go ahead now and work on this bottom part here, these stems. I'll use my thinner brush, rinse it off really good. And we're gonna go ahead and grab some red. We're gonna mix in some red on here. Let's see. So I'm mixing some red. And then I'm gonna make some yellow because now I'm trying to make some orange. And once I've got it, let me make sure it's well mixed. I'm gonna grab that brush and I'm gonna start making little circles and you can space them out. And I'll do the same with the other side, just adding some little berries. It picked up some black, that's fine. I'll just add some more color. And what I'm gonna do is with that same orange, I'm gonna add some brown and I'm gonna make a darker version of it. Because if you notice, the berries have different colors. So now it's that same orange I mixed in, I'm just adding some brown. And I'm gonna use that brown and make up, it looks like it's right here. I'm gonna use that one and start making some more berries. And if you feel like it's not, like mine's not really standing out, I'm gonna add some more brown. And then I'll just start adding my berries. And they can overlap. It's really. I'm gonna just make them pretty full. So you notice we have a couple of berries there. If you want to add more color to it, like I know there's like a darker reddish, you can add some black to that and then mix a darker version of it. And all I'm doing is I'm just adding more colors to the original orange we made. And as you can see, right? And I have mine overlapping. So I'm gonna rinse my brush. And I know we have only 1 more minute, so hopefully everybody's pretty caught up and you feel pretty confident. Beautiful, I love it. Oh my gosh. Gavetta was showing us her picture. Right now, we're gonna, before we hang up, I wanna make sure that we all see each other's pictures. So the only last thing that you can do, and you can do this after, is going to just be add a little bit of white just on the berries, just to create some contrast. And that's if you want to, right? Like if you don't, then that's fine too. And all it is just like a little bit of dabbing, some white paint on there. All right, awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause and I wanna see everybody's drawing. So if you guys can just unmute yourself and then just tell us your name and then show us your wonderful painting and then something that you maybe liked about this experience, because it'd be great for us to know too.
Here's my painting.
Looks pretty good. Mine's a work in progress.
So
Oh, wow.
beautiful, wow. I love it. So what did you guys enjoy about this painting or this event?
Just doing it.
It was very relaxing. It was fun.
Just fun to do something different and enjoy it.
Awesome. I'm so glad. Yes. And you know, this feedback is great because I think as caregivers, we work so hard for our kids, we're always advocating, we wear so many different hats that we deserve it too, right? It's so important. That's the only way we can avoid that burnout. But let's see, I want to see everybody else's. So I'm going to mute myself and just have you guys show.
So those are skulls and not pumpkins, because that's just our style.
Those are amazing. I totally love the skulls too. I like the skulls. And those paintings, I love how creative you guys got. For a minute there, I was like, are you guys enjoying it? Are you stressing out? I don't want that. But those are beautiful paintings. Somebody's Christmas gift, right?
A lot of fun.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
There's a few more on the bottom. It looks like Susan and Kathy had a couple there as well. Kathy and Susan, shows you again. Oh, there you go.
Oh, nice. I love it.
Alexandra's not going to show hers, but that's okay. Susan, show yours again.
Okay. And yeah, both of us.
I love it.
Oh, I
love
see yours.
creativity.
It was so mindful. All you
Yes.
had to do was focus on this. Wow. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
I'm so glad you guys joined us and everybody's artwork. Amber, I didn't see yours.
Amber, yeah. Oh, nice.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I really enjoyed painting with you guys this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. You guys are all creative artists and you guys all work so hard. So I'm glad that you guys were able to join us and just relax and have fun and make this a memorable experience for us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, guys. Happy Thanksgiving and happy
Happy
holidays.
Thanksgiving. Happy holidays.
Do you want to tell them, Elizabeth, really quickly about your January?
Oh,
Or Mandy, do you guys want to tell them about what you're doing in January? And then I'm going to put up a quick poll if we have one more minute.
Julia, I totally forgot. I was
Okay,
so
let me-
excited about November. It's my fault.
I will pull that up really quickly. Mandy or Kathy, do you have that?
I'm trying to pull it up as well.
January is going to be more about mindset. So today was about mindfulness. January is about mindset. So going into a little bit more about how do you change that? How can we look at getting into a mindset and helping our kids as well? So this is about caregiver. Next, we're going to do about mindset. You should see a survey on your screen. If you would take that, there's 6 quick questions. We would appreciate that. It helps our directors and our funding source know that we're actually doing something, along with having a bunch of fun. We would appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Elizabeth, you did great. This was so fun to watch you paint. I haven't seen this side of you yet. That was so fun.
Thank you. I know this is kind of what I like to do. I like to every so often just disconnect and then just really focus on resetting. So, a little bit about myself. I have 2 kids on the spectrum. And so this is so important, right? Like just taking care of ourselves. So thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for being here. I loved the concentration faces that were going on tonight, but also calm. We had some smiles happening as well.
Thank you, Mandy, for sharing that wonderful presentation and those, great exercises that I'm sure we all use during the painting, right? Because there's some stuff where I was like, okay, let me continue focusing on the sound of the strokes.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being here. Have a great holiday.
That's kind of
If you want to do this again, the recording will be sent out to everyone who registered. You could do it with family and friends. Watch for that to come out.
Sweet.
Thank you.